Hold on. Okay, so I have a text that's just come through. It says, "Hi, Kofi. Can you ask? Can you ask the Extinction Rebellion folks whether they would ever accept that there are people out there who have a contrary point of view, i.e., that climate change is in fact a myth?" Cheers. That's from Johnny.
I I can accept people having different viewpoints than me. You know, I can accept that some people like Marvel films. I personally don't.
What? Hold on.
What? I mean, what?
Please.
Iron Man 1's alright.
We need to start vetting our guests a bit more.
But science is science. Like, it's trying to tell me that the sun isn't a big ball of gas in the sky, right? By saying climate change is a myth, you're just ignoring not only science at this point, but also your eyes. Like, it's hot. It's a lot hotter than it used to be. Even I can tell that, and I'm young. You really got to be woefully ignorant at this point to say this isn't real, right?
Ignoring facts.
Yeah, you can maybe disagree about how long we've got or what we should do, I guess, but this is happening. It's not going to change that. No amount of eye covering is going to change that.
And I guess it's the fact, it's the thing as being an adult, innit? You know, you got to deal with contrasting, conflicting views, isn't it? And you think, well, these people might not think the same as he or she, or, you know, we as a collective, or, you know, whoever you are, whatever group you're part of, but you plow on with your own conviction, I guess, isn't it? Otherwise, what, you know, just because someone disagrees with you, do you give up? That's not the way, I don't think.
You talk to them, you figure out why you disagree, see if there's any bit of common ground, and if you see if you can bridge that common ground. If you can't, move on. It's not really worth your time.
And then we were going to talk about things that have happened today, and like in the break we were talking about the wedding. So I was going to read the quote, the tweet out from Extinction Rebellion. Hashtag Extinction Rebellion has its first marriage. In love and in rage, they stand on Westminster Bridge to be married. Hashtag Rebel for life. We rebel for their future. They rebel for yours. We all encourage each other. And there's actually someone ordaining the wedding. I think this is incredible.
Amazing.
These two women are getting married, and I think it's mint. This is. I didn't realize how big this whole thing was, how big the whole movement was, and this is what, day one. Like, how have you guys reacted to the news today? Does it make you feel like you want to go? Does it make you feel like you want to be there? You want to go down, or do you feel like you're doing enough here in Hull at the moment and just sort of holding the fort in places where there isn't such a movement happening?
I think it's really important for people in Hull especially, and people from like diverse backgrounds like myself who's disabled. I think it's really important for their voices to be heard. We're trying to do as much as we possibly can, like this week, even though we're not in London, like we are still in active rebellion, and I've got plans to join and go to London, but I'm still doing things while I'm here in Hull.
Okay. Danny, what do you think about today's actions? Obviously, people have been arrested in New Zealand, in Sydney. We have celebrities taking part here in London. Roads are being shut, bridges are being shut. And people are meditating on said bridges. How do you find everything that's happening today?
I think we've been preparing for this for a long time now, and I've been on similar roadblocks, Bristol, Leeds, Manchester, and the thing is that there was a level of excitement in me in the build up to this, and then today as I watch, you know, even some of my friends being carried away, arrested, in the live streams, the only thing that I can feel is sorrow and sadness that there are people who are having to sacrifice their liberty and are being criminalised for it, and we're taking action against the people trying to protect the earth rather than the people who are destroying it, or the institutions that are destroying it. And so as much as I am encouraged and have a lot of hope because of the solidarity that this movement has created, it is really sad to watch peaceful people who care about the earth having to be arrested, having to sacrifice their liberty because we're not being listened to.
And I guess a lot of people see people going out to protest. It's like, oh, look at these people enjoying themselves, getting a day off work. Nobody wants to be there.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, the reality, people don't want to have to be there for that reason. They'd rather be knowing that this sort of stuff is being taken care of. But people are, like you said, they're sacrificing liberty, days and work, jobs, family situations, you know, to be there and think, no, I'm part of the greater good. And you said someone from Hull has been arrested. Or someone you know, a friend of yours.
Yeah.
What's the deal? Can you take us through
She's
that?
one of our rebels from Hull. I was going to read from my phone so that I can remember exactly what she wanted to say. But Francesca Dale, student at the University of Hull, said, "I feel a moral obligation to do civil disobedience as the government is failing to protect us, and to remain silent is to be complicit. History shows that non-violent civil disobedience works, so my conscience drives me to act before it's too late." Francesca glued herself to the road near the Houses of Parliament and was arrested at 6 p.m. on Monday the 7th.
Right, okay. So do you think if this protest was sort of organised and in conjunction with the police, do you think a lot of the arrests could have been avoided, or do you think it was unavoidable? This is just how it was going to go down regardless?
They could just not arrest peaceful protesters.
Because that was one thing that was going through my head. What are they doing that's warranting arrest?
Yeah, well, I mean, civil disobedience, but...
Right.
Yeah, so Francesca glued herself to a road. So that's classed as obstructing the highway because there's other rebels in a blockade together that are all obstructing the road.
Right.
So that's the kind of like legal element of it.
So what's the sort of ramifications of that? Is it jail time, or is it something that goes on your record? I don't know how that works. How is something like...
It goes on your record, and the fine for obstruction of the highway is up to £1,000. But first-time offenders tend to not get a custodial sentence. But it does depend because on the circumstances of how you're obstructing the highway, and if you're doing it in a more serious way, like locking on with an arm tube or sitting on top of a lorry, then the charges can escalate, and sometimes it's unpredictable which charge the police might use.
Right.
But you know that's us watching people going and. You know, they could be at home with their families, they could be enjoying their free time, but instead they're having to be arrested. And that sacrifice, I think, is really powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think when we talk about resources and things as well, like we've said, like we'd rather not have to be there, we'd rather not people have to be arrested, but if the government would redirect their resources to focusing on the climate and ecological emergency that's unfolding, they wouldn't have to send police to kind of respond to protesters, because we wouldn't need to be there if they'd just act on our demands. So I think that's a really important point to kind of like bring up about it.
So,
and also the fact that as much as XR don't communicate everything to the police, like we don't tell them every single detail of what we're doing, we do always publicise our actions. We're all like individually and collectively responsible for our own actions. And XR do actually put contingency plans in place for emergency routes, so emergency vehicles would get redirected, and that's known about in advance as well.
So just because I'm just curious of time, just to wrap it up because it is coming to 9 o'clock. For people out there listening who feel like, look, you know, you've won me over. I understand now what people are doing, but there's a limit to what I can do. I can't get down there. What are the biggest things that I can do as a singular person, as an individual, in my normal life, in my day to day, to try and be a part of this, or to try and create some change? What tips and what advice would you guys offer?
Come to a meeting.
And one of the meetings. Can't invite them and not tell them what it is.
So we've got our a debrief which we do after an action just to make sure how everyone feels and reflect upon what we've done. Right. And we've got one Thursday the 24th at Being in Nothingness, so that there'll be like a social part of that from 7:30 till 9.
Okay.
But as well, like, you know, although there are people sacrificing their liberty, there's a whole range of things people can get involved in. When you get involved in the movement, we have working groups for different areas like art, media, outreach, training. And so people can come and contribute the skills that they already have. And also just by sharing things on Facebook, talking to your friends and family, all of this is part of like a big movement in which everybody is welcome and everyone can contribute depending on you know, what it is that they can give.
Awesome. Luke, what would you like to say? Any bits of advice you'd like to add? Or
just stay roughly informed. As long as you know what's sort of going on and why people like Extinction Rebellion on the streets, that's more than we can really ask for. Because as soon as you're informed, most people then tend to get involved naturally, let's say.
I do have a message saying Hull Extinction family are listening and they say hi. Hi guys.
Hey.
So if anybody wants to get in touch with you guys or get in touch with the Hull Extinction Rebellion, how can they do that? You can feel free to plug your own channels, any channels that you use with Extinction Rebellion, because we want to try and, you know, we'll try and bring in different groups of people together. You know, if anyone's got any questions, you know, how can they find you?
I think the main one is the Facebook page, and because a lot of people use that, so you join the Extinction Rebellion Hull, go on the Facebook page, join the group. There's just a few quick questions about how you got involved, or how you want to get involved and why. And then when you join that, you can see like the different events that we are posting, and the members, and also if you don't use Facebook, which some people don't, you can go on the website xrhull.org.uk, I think.
It's .com. Okay.
Is it .com? So the website's there. You can search for it, and it should come up in Google. And that way, you can sign up to the mailing list, and that'll give you alternative sort of source of information if you're not on Facebook.
Brilliant, awesome. Is there any last pointers you want to add?
Considering she got arrested, I think it's fair to point out that Francesca's setting up a Green Party Society at the whole university this year.
Okay.
So if there's any students out there listening and want to get involved, that's a great way of doing it as well.
Oh, brilliant, guys! Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you don't feel like you're being put on the spot here, or you've been forced into saying anything. But like, I think that was a really interesting sort of balanced chat about what is going on out there, and like obviously you guys are front lines here, and no one else better can provide a window or insight into what's going on. So thanks for coming on, thanks for sharing the stories and stuff, and no doubt this is an ever going saga, which who knows how it's going to be rounded off, who knows how it's going to end. And I think like you said, we're at that point of laughing now on the quote that you were talking about, Megan, and let's see what happens at the end of these 2 weeks. But you'll have to be our eyes and ears. Keep tweeting No Filter, keep us in the loop, let us know what's going on.
Sweet, thank you.
Cool.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. Thank you very much. Luke, Megan and Danny here on the show from Extinction Rebellion Hull, chatting with us on BBC No Filter.